A Life Unveiled. Annie Besant's early years. Annie Besant was a woman of many passions. Born in 1847 in London, Annie Wood's early life was touched by both privilege and hardship. Her father, a physician, instilled in her a love for learning. Tragically, Annie's world shifted when her father passed away when she was just a child. Despite financial struggles, Annie's spirit remained undimmed. Her mother, a woman of strong will, became her pillar of strength. These values, instilled in her youth, would later blossom into a lifelong dedication to social reform. Annie's early education, though limited by societal norms, further fueled her intellectual hunger. She devoured books, her mind captivated by diverse subjects. This thirst for knowledge would become a defining characteristic, pushing her to challenge conventions. It was within these formative years that the foundation for an extraordinary life of activism and spiritual exploration was laid. A fire ignited, seeds of activism and social change. As Annie blossomed into adulthood, her social conscience began to stir. She witnessed firsthand the stark inequalities of Victorian England. The plight of the working class and the pervasive poverty deeply troubled her. Annie's marriage to clergyman Frank Besant in 1867 brought her face to face with the limitations imposed upon women. Her husband's conservative views clashed with her own burgeoning ideas about women's rights and social reform. This period of her life, though challenging, proved to be a turning point. Annie's experiences fueled her determination to break free from societal constraints. She began to question traditional religious doctrines, seeking a more inclusive spirituality. Annie's courage and conviction led her to leave her marriage, marking the beginning of her public life as an activist. Breaking barriers. Annie Besant's foray into uncharted territories. Annie Besant's separation from her husband marked a turning point in her life. She fully embraced her role as an advocate for social change. Annie became a prominent figure in the secularist movement, challenging traditional religious dogma. Her writings, often controversial, sparked debate and challenged Victorian society. Annie joined forces with prominent figures in the socialist movement, championing the rights of workers. Her tireless efforts led her to co-found the National Secular Society. She also became a leading voice in the Fabian Society, advocating for gradual reform. Annie Besant's fearlessness in challenging the status quo set the stage for a life of extraordinary impact. A voice for the voiceless, championing women's rights. Annie Besant's activism extended beyond religion and secularism. She recognized the deep-rooted inequalities faced by women in Victorian society. Driven by her own experiences, she dedicated herself to dismantling patriarchal structures. Besant firmly believed that women possessed the same intellectual capabilities as men. She challenged the notion that a woman's place was solely in the domestic sphere. Besant became a prominent voice in the growing movement for women's suffrage. Her unwavering commitment to equality established her as a leading figure in the fight for women's liberation. Her work laid the groundwork for future generations to continue the struggle for a world where women could live freely and equally. Navigating controversy. The Knowlton trial and its aftermath. Annie Besant's commitment to social justice often led her into controversy. One such instance was her involvement in the 1877 Knowlton trial. The trial revolved around the publication of a pamphlet titled The Fruits of Philosophy by Charles Knowlton. Besant and Charles Bradlaugh decided to republish the pamphlet in England, challenging taboos surrounding discussions of sexuality. Their actions sparked outrage among conservative segments of society. Besant and Bradlaugh were arrested and charged with obscenity. Despite facing intense scrutiny, they used the trial to argue for women's reproductive rights. This landmark case paved the way for future conversations on this sensitive topic. Labor of love, advocacy for the working class. Annie Besant's compassion extended beyond the struggles of women. She recognized the plight of the working class, who faced poverty and unsafe working conditions. Driven by her socialist ideals, she became a fervent advocate for their welfare. Besant witnessed firsthand the deplorable conditions in factories and slums. She joined forces with labor unions, supporting strikes and advocating for better wages and working conditions. Besant's involvement in the Match Girls' strike of 1888 exemplified her commitment to the working class. Her tireless advocacy cemented her legacy as a true champion of the oppressed. Seeds of change. Education as a tool for empowerment. Annie Besant believed that education was the cornerstone of social progress. She dedicated a significant portion of her life to establishing educational institutions. Besant's vision of education extended beyond rote learning. She advocated for a holistic approach that nurtured critical thinking and creativity. In 1889, she co-founded the Central Hindu College in Varanasi, India. This institution stands as a testament to Besant's commitment to fostering cross-cultural understanding. Her unwavering belief in the power of education left an enduring legacy. Annie Besant's pursuit of truth led her to Theosophy. In 1889, she encountered the writings of Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Theosophy provided Besant with a framework for understanding the interconnectedness of all things. She embraced Theosophy wholeheartedly, finding in its teachings a sense of purpose. Besant's conversion to Theosophy was an expansion of her worldview. She saw no contradiction between her fight for social justice and her spiritual beliefs. In fact, she believed that true spiritual growth went hand in hand with service to humanity. This holistic approach became a hallmark of Besant's theosophical work. The Theosophical Society provided a fertile ground for Annie Besant's aspirations. Attracted by its commitment to universal brotherhood, she quickly became a prominent member. Besant's involvement in the Theosophical Society marked a turning point in her life. She embraced the Society's mission of promoting universal brotherhood and studying comparative religion. Her intellectual rigor led her to delve deeply into theosophical teachings. Besant's leadership within the Theosophical Society grew over time. Under her guidance, the Society expanded its reach, establishing branches worldwide. Annie Besant's exploration of Theosophy led her to delve into Eastern esoteric traditions. Theosophy provided a bridge between Western and Eastern thought. Besant's study of Hinduism and Buddhism opened her mind to new ways of perceiving reality. She embraced the idea of karma, aligning with her belief in social justice. Her exploration of Eastern spirituality enriched her understanding of Theosophy. Besant's ability to bridge Eastern and Western thought made her a compelling voice in spiritual exploration. The search for truth. Theosophy's core principles. At the heart of Annie Besant's embrace of Theosophy lay a profound thirst for truth. Theosophy provided a framework for her spiritual journey and her work for a more just world. One core tenet was the concept of universal brotherhood, transcending race, religion, and nationality. Theosophy's emphasis on the study of ancient wisdom traditions appealed to Besant's intellectual curiosity. The pursuit of spiritual enlightenment resonated with Besant's belief in the soul's potential for growth. She saw Theosophy as a path to self-realization and the betterment of humanity. Section 5. A global movement, spreading Theosophical teachings worldwide. Annie Besant's passion for Theosophy and her remarkable ability to communicate complex ideas in an engaging and accessible manner made her a powerful advocate for its teachings. She traveled extensively, lecturing to audiences worldwide, and her writings, translated into numerous languages, spread theosophical ideas far and wide. Under her leadership, the Theosophical Society experienced significant growth, establishing new branches in Europe, America, Asia, and Australia. Besant's charisma, coupled with her ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds, contributed to the Society's growing international appeal. She recognized the importance of adapting Theosophical teachings to different cultural contexts, encouraging the exploration of indigenous wisdom traditions, and fostering a spirit of inclusivity within the movement. Besant's vision of Theosophy transcended national boundaries, embracing the universality of its core principles and promoting cross-cultural understanding and dialogue. Her tireless efforts to spread Theosophical teachings helped to establish it as a global movement, fostering a sense of interconnectedness among its members and inspiring individuals to work towards a more just and compassionate world. Besant's legacy as a Theosophical leader lies in her ability to make its teachings accessible to a wider audience, promoting unity in diversity, and inspiring generations to embrace a path of spiritual growth and service to humanity. A New Dawn in the East, Annie Besant's arrival in India. In 1893, Annie Besant embarked on her first journey to India. This ancient land, steeped in spirituality, held a profound allure for her. India became her adopted homeland, where she dedicated her life to its people. Her arrival marked a new chapter, deeply intertwined with India's destiny. Captivated by the culture and spiritual depth, she found a new sense of purpose. Besant stood in solidarity with the Indian people, contributing to their struggle for self-determination. A mother's embrace, connecting with India's soul. Annie Besant's connection with India went far beyond intellectual curiosity or political ideals. She immersed herself in Indian culture, embracing its traditions, studying its ancient scriptures, and forming deep bonds with its people. Besant's genuine love for India and its people earned her the endearing title of Shweta Saraswati, meaning White Saraswati, a testament to her wisdom and her role as a spiritual teacher. She traveled extensively throughout the country, visiting temples, ashrams, and centers of learning. Besant engaged in dialogues with spiritual leaders, scholars, and ordinary citizens, seeking to understand the soul of India and its ancient wisdom. Her deep respect for Hinduism, in particular, resonated with many Indians who saw in her a true friend and ally. Besant's ability to bridge the cultural divide, to connect with Indians on a heart-to-heart level, set her apart from many other Westerners of her time. She recognized the inherent dignity and wisdom of Indian culture, even as she challenged the injustices of colonial rule. Her embrace of India was not without its critics, both in England and among some sections of Indian society. Yet, Besant remained undeterred, her love for India and her commitment to its people unwavering. She believed in the potential of India to reclaim its rightful place as a beacon of spiritual and cultural enlightenment, and she dedicated herself to nurturing that potential. Home Rule for India, igniting the flames of self-governance. As Annie Besant's connection with India deepened, so too did her awareness of the urgent need for self-governance. She witnessed firsthand the debilitating effects of British colonial rule, the economic exploitation, the political disenfranchisement, and the erosion of Indian culture and identity. Inspired by the Irish Home Rule movement, and fueled by her own unwavering belief in the right of all people to self-determination, Besant launched the Home Rule League in India in 1916. This marked a turning point in her life as she transitioned from spiritual seeker and social reformer to a prominent figure in the Indian nationalist movement. Besant's Home Rule League advocated for India's right to govern itself within the British Empire, similar to the status enjoyed by Canada and Australia. She believed that Indians were more than capable of managing their own affairs and that self-governance was essential for India's progress. Her message resonated deeply with millions of Indians who were yearning for freedom. Besant's fiery speeches, her passionate writings in her newspaper, New India, and her tireless campaigning galvanized the nation, awakening a spirit of nationalism that had been simmering beneath the surface. A force to be reckoned with Besant's political ascendancy. Annie Besant's entry into Indian politics was nothing short of remarkable. A woman, a foreigner, and a former critic of Indian customs, she defied all odds to become one of the most prominent and influential figures in the Indian nationalist movement. Her unwavering commitment to India's freedom, her eloquence in articulating the aspirations of the Indian people, and her strategic acumen in mobilizing support for the Home Rule movement made her a force to be reckoned with. The British authorities, initially dismissive of Besant's activities, soon realized the potency of her influence. Her ability to unite Indians from different religious, linguistic, and caste backgrounds under the banner of Home Rule posed a significant threat to their colonial hold. In 1917, the British government, alarmed by Besant's growing popularity and the escalating demands for home rule, placed her under house arrest. However, her internment only served to further fuel the nationalist movement. Protests erupted across India, demanding her release and amplifying the call for self-governance. a legacy forged in unity. Besant and Gandhi, a shared vision for India's future. Annie Besant's internment proved to be a turning point in the Indian independence movement. It brought to the forefront a young lawyer named Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who had recently returned from South Africa after successfully employing nonviolent resistance against discriminatory laws. Gandhi, deeply impressed by Besant's courage and her unwavering commitment to India's freedom, saw in her a valuable ally. Despite their differences in background and approach, they shared a common vision for a free and independent India. Besant, recognizing Gandhi's leadership qualities and the power of his nonviolent philosophy, readily stepped aside, paving the way for him to take the helm of the independence movement. She continued to play an active role, lending her support and guidance to Gandhi. Their collaboration marked a significant shift in the Indian nationalist movement. Besant's fiery rhetoric and political acumen, combined with Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha, or truth force, created a potent force that the British Empire found increasingly difficult to contain. Annie Besant's legacy in India extends far beyond her role in the independence movement. Her contributions to education, her efforts to revive Indian culture and spirituality, and her unwavering belief in the potential of the Indian people left an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. A life transcendent, Annie Besant's enduring legacy. Annie Besant's life was a tapestry woven from threads of unwavering conviction and intellectual brilliance. From Victorian London to India, she left an indelible mark on every path she crossed. Her legacy encompasses her roles as a social reformer, spiritual seeker, and champion of freedom. She challenged societal norms, championed women's and workers' rights, and confronted injustice. Her embrace of Theosophy added a spiritual dimension to her activism. In India, she became a passionate advocate for freedom, inspiring millions with her fiery speeches. Bridging Worlds, the unifying power of Besant's vision. Annie Besant's life was a testament to the unifying power of a shared vision. She possessed a remarkable ability to connect with people from all walks of life, transcending cultural and ideological divides to build bridges of understanding and cooperation. Her vision for a more just and compassionate world resonated with people across continents, inspiring them to work towards a common goal. Besant's embrace of both Western and Eastern thought, her ability to find common ground between seemingly disparate ideologies, allowed her to connect with a wide range of individuals. She saw no contradiction between her fight for social justice and her pursuit of spiritual enlightenment, recognizing that true progress encompassed both the material and the spiritual realms. Her leadership style was characterized by inclusivity and a deep respect for diversity. She believed in empowering others, encouraging dialogue and collaboration, and fostering a sense of shared purpose. Besant's ability to create a space where people from different backgrounds felt valued and heard was instrumental in her success as a leader and a unifier. Whether she was advocating for the rights of women in England, promoting Theosophical teachings in America, or fighting for India's freedom, Besant's message remained consistent, a belief in the inherent dignity of all human beings, a commitment to justice and equality, and a vision of a world united by love, compassion, and understanding. Echoes of Annie Besant, Lessons for the Modern World. Annie Besant's legacy continues to inspire and challenge us. Her life offers valuable lessons for the modern world, a world grappling with complex challenges that require innovative solutions. Besant's belief in the transformative power of education remains relevant today. Access to quality education is more crucial than ever before. Her advocacy for social justice serves as a reminder that the fight for equality is far from over. Her example encourages us to raise our voices against discrimination and oppression. Besant's vision of a global community united by shared values offers a beacon of hope